Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of some kind of podcast. Honestly, I'm not really sure what we're doing here. We're just rolling with the punches. I am your host, Kyle Flannery, and I am joined by three of my long life friends. We're going to be talking about video games. This is just something that we're trying out, and we're not really sure where this is going to go. So, joining me today, I'll have them introduce themselves. Anybody can go ahead and go.
My name is Travis. Hi.
My name is Seth. Hello.
My name is Shane, and I like frogs.
Okay, so today's subject is going to be switch it up. Different models of the Switch and hopes for any other new model types.
Just give me a new Switch that can play Breath of the Wild above 23 frames per second and not dip below 4 frames when entering the Kokiri Forest. Please.
Yeah.
You can tell everybody's not used to push to talk.
I think one of the most, the important thing about this, which is it needs an upgrade, pretty badly some.
That's one of my main concerns because I've seen the demos of Damon X Machina, and it worries me that the frames are going to limit the enjoyment of the game.
The demo ran pretty well, but there was also only 3 or 4 missions, so it's kind of hard to tell from just that small snippet. But I didn't have any problem.
Not only that, but the boss fights were still hella chunky in that demo, so
They were pretty chunky, yeah, but there was a lot of particles on screen.
it's a lot of it mainly is concerned for games like that. Yeah, I agree that there's absolutely no way, if they keep going on and trying to improve the graphic fidelity of Switch games, that they will be able to run on this normal console without serious issues. So either they're going to keep kind of just plateauing at this graphical style that we all have seen already, or they're gonna have to really upgrade the software. And I think one of the weirdest things about that is that Nintendo doesn't have a specific style for all their games. You look at let's say Gears of War or something. That's a series that has a very set art style. Every single game has this graphic fidelity to it that you've known over the years, and it's only improved in a way that kind of caters to the new technology. So with Nintendo games, they all have these unique art styles. For example, Luigi's Mansion 3, when that comes out, I'm really curious to see how that even runs, because it looks great, but who's to say that it's not super intensive on the hardware? And
I mean, they have.
Not even just the Luigi's Mansion 3. We don't even know what Bayonetta 3 has in store, and it doesn't even have a release date. So maybe it'll show up next E3, and maybe another who knows, an announcement for a graphically better Switch.
I mean, Bayonetta 2 had some problems, so I'm also worried about Bayonetta 3. It wasn't always crisp across everything.
It was crisp for me when I played it on handheld, as well as just docked. It was probably super chunky on Wii U.
I had some frame drops when the game got a little weird, mostly around entering Witch Time with a bunch of enemies on screen, or during a boss. It would slow down pretty substantially.
That's how it was in Bayonetta 1 on Switch for me. It was the final boss and I kept doing Witch Time, and then frames just dropped. Okay, slow motion attack time now.
But Nintendo got away with having a lower end console at first, I think, because of the novelty of it, for one, and two, the fact that a bunch of Nintendo games do have that art. If you have a Dragon Quest game or something, it's going to have that comic booky JRPG style, or how Pokemon games are supposed to look, how Mario games are supposed to look, and they can kind of get away with that at first, but
or just any of the Wii games, the Wii Plus, or not Wii Plus, Wii Fit, Wii Sports Resort. They all have every character looks similar.
Yeah, with Wii Plus, they're gonna need to make a Wii Minus if they don't update the graphics. Honestly,
I'd rather a Wii Multiply.
But my worry is how are they going to make a Switch so much stronger that it runs everything really well and keep the handheld thing not encumbersome? Like, when is the point where we're going to have to just keep it docked no matter what?
they will have to make it the size of like a large tablet, one of those high-end tablets almost, I would say.
They'll just make it thicker.
See, because
I'm gonna-
I'm on board with the have a permanently docked Switch that runs harder, and then let people that want to have the mobile option, like the reverse of the Lite almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, just it's like the Switch D or something, Switch Dock.
I could see that, but I think my biggest worry with that is that the market that's going to appeal to is so much smaller than ever. A lot of people have been buying games that have already came out on Switch again just because it's portable now. So like, I wonder how much of a market even is like, because I know a lot of you guys like never take your Switch anywhere. I don't. I always play mine on the TV, and then I think the only time I've taken it anywhere for an extensive period of time was when we did E3 at Brandy's house. That was it.
And that power outage you had. That
Yeah.
was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was like the only other time where I just sat there and played Dynasty Warriors 8, which is perfect for situations like that. But whenever it doesn't need it, I won't make my Switch, or I won't take it out of its dock to use handheld. I'll just use it on the TV, because even though there's a lot of games that don't necessarily, nothing looks bad on the Switch, but like nothing looks fantastic either by modern standards, except for if you want to count Xenoblade or Breath of the Wild. But those games were like, I feel like
Built for the
got,
Switch.
Yeah, they got like steps ahead of everybody else with knowing the architecture.
They were also teased like heavily with like pre-rendered cutscenes and all that. Everything was
Yeah.
like, oh, look at all this grass.
Like Dragon Quest Builders 2 is a really good example. We've been playing that recently. That game gets hella framey like all the time. And I feel like on PS4 that just doesn't happen because they built it more for the PlayStation, because even though Nintendo and Sony are both prevalent in Japan and their audience is Japan, the PlayStation version probably got a lot more like flexibility in terms of like how certain areas could look and stuff. And they probably just didn't translate that over well to the Switch.
The real worry and framey shit about the Switch, I feel like, is solved in a lot of first-party Nintendo games because they build it for the Switch's architecture, whereas all the third parties almost never get built.
Dude, this makes me pose the question: Crisis on Switch when?
I like my Switch, and I want to keep it not on fire, so never.
Sure, let me just make myself my own lap warmer. Let's do that.
Oh man.
People still use Crysis as a benchmarking tool for high-end PCs. You think it's ever going to make it to Switch? No way.
Gosh, no. But
It'd be funny, though.
One day.
Okay, here's the thing. Switch, in essence, with the Switch Lite, they just made a bigger Game Boy. So maybe with the Switch, that's going to be more graphically enhanced. Maybe later next year, they'll call it like, it'll be like this, like the Switch Rectangle.
Switch, yeah, that's what they're gonna call it. The Switch Rectangle.
It would be the Switch XL, probably.
No, it'll be the game rectangle.
So what about all the games? Well, there's probably not that many, but there's probably some games that won't even work correctly in the Lite. I don't know if you ever thought about that.
They have not said whether or not enough of the performance is like affected, because it essentially the Lite, we already know, is just the handheld normal Switch, just it can't ever be docked. So
Oh, I'm talking about stuff like let's say Mario Odyssey. To throw your cap, you would have to fling your controller.
Oh, that's
You gotta
right.
fling your whole Switch Lite. So you got
can
that.
play
Just yeet it across.
Mario Odyssey with a Pro controller, though, without motion control.
yeah, but that also begs another question: can you even connect a Pro controller to the Switch Lite?
Well, I'm saying that the Joy-Cons would act as a Pro controller, so instead of having motion controls,
okay, I see what you're saying.
you would just use the keybind.
Yeah, but that sounds like a really bad idea. Like, imagine if the IR sensors in it, you just throw your Switch to toss your cap.
There is no IR sensor in
No,
the
you
Switch Lite.
You have to pretend your Switch Lite is your hat, so you have to fling it and hope it comes back.
Gotcha. That's what you got to do. No, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Also, there is no IR sensor in the Switch Lite, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that was one of the features they said they got rid of.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Mario Party won't work on it.
Oh, or 1-2
Well,
Switch.
there's obviously going to be incompatible games. Yeah, like 1-2 Switch and Mario.
But people aren't going
Party.
to play those in handheld mode by themselves for the most part anyway, I don't
Yeah,
think.
I highly doubt anybody's gonna go buy a Switch Lite and then go, damn it, the one game I wanted to play on this was fucking Mario Party.
I mean, you got me.
I think a lot of people are gonna buy this thing for like, I hate to say it, just because I'm so adamant about playing Smash with the proper controller. A lot of people are gonna use this to play Smash on the go, or like Breath of the Wild on the go, and especially the biggest one for this year is gonna be Pokemon.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, it's getting a special edition Switch Lite. They are guaranteed banking on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a smart business strategy, honestly.
Pokemon's always been on the go, so why not just make a Switch that's always on the go?
I mean, they have Pokemon Go, so of course.
What really concerns
Sleep.
me about them doing any other Switch models? Actually, no. I'm gonna pose a question. What other Switch models would you like to see other than just an upgraded one? Is there any other features you want added to a Switch that like you think that the model needs to come predetermined with? Like
An Ethernet port, please.
I know I've heard you say that
Yes.
before in the past. Yeah, like an Ethernet port on the dock.
Also,
That was the dumbest business decision they could ever make. Let's make
Well,
a console
you know
that
how
has-
Nintendo is.
Nintendo's behind with the times, but
Their foresight on online play in general has always been just like the worst. So
it's peer-to-peer connection. What could go wrong?
see, that's why I think they could, if they made like a permanently docked one, they could add so many random features like that. Like add an Ethernet port, no Joy-Cons, make it come with a Pro controller so you can charge even more for it. And like people will not a lot of people will buy it, but about as many people as buy the Switch Lite would probably buy a fully docked Switch. I would say it's probably about 50-50 between who plays in handheld all the time and who doesn't.
Or instead of HDMI, they could probably go straight to DisplayPort.
They'll do HDMI. They won't get rid of that.
Well,
And they could
they'll
also-
have HDMI, but also DisplayPort.
If
just
they
for
did
the
a
hardcore people.
if they did a fully docked version, they could also do the 4K option that they had talked about originally that never happened.
I can't imagine any Switch games in 4K.
Because I feel like a lot of the issues with why the Switch is like it is because it's handheld and docked. But if it was just built into a dock, you could add extra heat sinks and all kinds of stuff. It wouldn't get hot. It could be more powerful, like a home console, like the PS4 or the Xbox One.
I want a Switch model that transforms into one of the Starlink ships.
Oh, so you can just be Fox McCloud's ship?
Yes. Or even, yes, an R-Wing. There we go. That way, I didn't want to just say R-Wing because, Starlink's trying to survive out there and it can't without the Star Fox partnership. Pretty sure that game has the most sales on Switch, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it blew everything out of the water. Like, the Switch sales compared to every other console put together is, like, astronomically different.
But could you imagine just getting a Switch, flipping a switch on the side of it, if you would rather, and it turns into a portable R-Wing?
And then you just hear, "Hey Einstein, I'm on your side."
I mean, that'd be a waste of, resources, but it'd be hilarious. Other than
I
that,
want a
though,
better designed dock. I want one that's, like, sturdier, has the Ethernet port, doesn't threaten to scratch your screen all the goddamn time. Like a well-designed one, maybe.
make
That's
it so
why
that
you
the
buy-
internal sections of the dock have not necessarily an insulation because that would cause the Switch to explode, but
But, some padding.
Yeah, some padding of some kind. Yeah.
Because
That's why you
I
buy-
have a slip cover for the front of mine that stops my screen from getting scratched.
That's why
But I
have
hate that I had to get another one.
Gotta get that good old tempered glass screen protector. Those things save lives.
But those
That's
can still
also
get
what I have.
scratched, and I'm not going to replace it every time, just because my dock decides. I just bought a silk thing that goes over the front that just cushions the screen as
Yeah, that's what my friend has. I should get that. I do. I can probably just use one of my old coats that I'm not using, and just cut a big old square and just put it right there.
I want an astral chain switch where it has a singular cord that you plug into you. It's a flesh interface, and then it just floats around with you and fights stuff for you.
Oh, is this some transhumanism shit? we're
Kyle,
talking
I know
about?
you're excited for Cyberpunk, but calm down.
I'm excited for Cyberpunk and Astral Chain.
I'm just excited for video games.
Dude, video games are great this year. It's fucking
Video
crazy.
games suck.
This year's gonna be nuts. It's already so hectic.
The
It's gonna get worse.
blood was drawn this month with fucking builders after E3. We had that lull of silence. Or I guess Judgment was probably the
Well,
one
also
really
Bloodstained
first.
Ritual of the Night came out. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, which that game's phenomenal. Everybody go check that out. So yeah, with that in mind, there's not a whole lot left to talk about when it comes to the Switch models in general, so we can move on to the next topic.
Oh, wait, before, they should update the existing ones, or at least have the option to have Joy-Cons with a better D-pad.
Oh yeah,
Hori made an officially licensed D-pad Joy-Con for the Switch.
That's pretty cool.
Sweet. So when Tekken 7 finally comes to Switch, I can get it.
It'll be Tekken 8 by then, bud.
Oh, you're right. No, it'll be Mario Cross Tekken.
No, it'll be.
Oh, I'd play the shit out of that.
4.
Give me that, please.
Yeah, give me that too.
Heck, there's already Mario Cross Tekken, because in Tekken Tag 2 on the Wii U, you can dress up Heihachi to look like Mario or Luigi.
That's such a fringe case.
But
How did you even know about that?
And you can also make the female characters look like Princess Peach.
Does
I think you can also
Ogre,
have
does
Bowser.
True Ogre have Bowser costume or some shit like that in that one?
I
Pretty sure he
don't- I don't
does.
know. I think you can also have like Bowser's shell. It's pretty weird, but I remember looking at the back cover of Tekken Tag 2 for Wii U and seeing Heihachi with a big ass nose and a Mario cap.
Yeah,
Great.
it's pretty awesome. I love when fighting games do the weird crossovers like that. And speaking of that, that leads to our next subject, which is going to be the history of fighting game DLC characters and how that's developed over the years. The just absurdity of Smash 4 leading into Smash Ultimate and how crazy everything was with that. Because you look at Smash 4's DLC list and it is like the most. If you would have told me 5 years ago Smash 4 would have been
When we
out,
were
Jesus
wee lads
Christ.
playing Melee on the GameCube,
Yeah,
but one
if
day
you
I'd be
would've
able
told
to
me
play
back
as
in
Cloud.
2004 that Cloud was going to be a playable character in Super Smash Brothers, dude, I would just not believe you.
Or Bayonetta, for that fact. Like,
Well, I'd be
I know
asking
it was
who a
on the
Bayonetta
Wii U,
was.
but wow, that it still caught me off guard pretty.
Imagine you
pretty
going
fast.
back in time and telling yourself playing Melee, hey, don't worry, Cloud and Bayonetta's going to be... And you just sit there who the fuck's Bayonetta?
Just tell me it's a sexy witch made by the people that made Okami. I'll get it.
Pre-order bonus for Soul Calibur 6 with Tira. I'm very disappointed in that, and I feel really cheated.
I don't like pre-order incentives being DLC characters. Like, I hated that I had to pre-order MK11 to get Shao Kahn, of all people. Like, he's a mainstay in the series, basically. Like, every game has to have a Kahn, and Shao Kahn was it for a...
It wasn't Shao Kahn in the first game too.
No. First
2?
game didn't have a con. It was 2. Was his first.
Oh.
Shang Tsung was the big baddie of the first one.
And then, I don't like hiding... I like the way Smash does it, where you get new additions as DLC for the most part, versus how like games like Mortal Kombat and Tekken and Street Fighter do it, where it's like, look at these characters you've played before. Pay extra.
Yeah, I actually agree with that 100%. That's a really good point. Like, there's a lot of times where a character's DLC and I'm like, yes, thank God, but it's like, why did they have to be DLC? Why couldn't they have just been on the base roster? Like,
It took 2
Money.
years for them to add Sagat to Street Fighter V.
yeah.
And he's like a fan favorite.
That's
And the same went with Tekken.
We don't have Gon Ryu in Tekken. Like,
Nope.
excuse me?
yeah, it took forever to get Marduk for Tekken 7. And I get it. There's developers just want to try new characters. Like for Marduk specifically, they wanted Gigas to be like the haha, this is the Marduk style character, but he just wasn't the same. Like when you make an iconic character like that, expect people to want them back, not some new person copying their moveset.
That's even more of a slap in the face, I think. Like when they're like, look at this new character with the same moveset, but you can't have the original unless you pay extra.
Speaking of new characters, I think so. Out of all of you, I'm probably the least knowledgeable on fighting games. But what I have noticed is, I think over the years, developers are getting way more comfortable about experimenting crossovers with different characters. I mean, for God's sake, you got Negan from The Walking Dead and Tekken.
Look at the Mortal Kombat series as a whole. Ever since 9, it's been insanity.
Yeah, with
Yes.
with Freddy Krueger coming out of nowhere.
Freddy,
in
you had
K9.
Kratos on the PlayStation 1, all the
Busted.
horror game villains in 10, and now we're getting Spawn in 11. It's like, calm down.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, back to Smash again, they just kind of stemmed this. They figured out a formula where it was like, people have a boner for crossovers. Like, fucking the 64 Smash. It was nuts to see Mario punching Samus in the face. Like, that's like, what the fuck? Like, who,
It also had a great commercial, and I still remember it to this day.
where they're in the
With
suits and it's
With
playing.
Yoshi just bashing the
Yeah, it's playing
It was
so
so
happy
cheesy,
together.
but it was so good.
Oh, it was a fantastic commercial, and it really sold the point. But like, it's just one of those things where that formula has stood the test of time now. Like, I don't think there's been a single crossover game that hasn't got me hyped, even if I'm not interested in the crossover. Like, I still have not played Blaz Blue Cross Tag Battle, and every single time I see new characters in that, I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
But Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite proved that crossover can't save you if your game is already.
Yeah.
If your gameplay is garbage, especially if it's a fighting game, don't expect for it to sell well.
That's all the game is gameplay. 1v1 gameplay. If there's not that, you have nothing. And that's what Marvel vs. Capcom is. Nothing.
Remember back in Soul Calibur 2 when Link, Heihachi, and Spawn were guest characters in 3 separate game variations?
Yeah, I
Or-
had it on Xbox. That was weird. I had Spawn.
Or
I had it
4.
on GameCube.
Oh,
Yeah,
or
4 had
we
Yoda
played-
and
Where was
Darth Vader.
Yoda and Darth
Oh,
Vader
no.
on the PS3 and Xbox 360.
And then 5 was Ezio, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
It wasn't.
That's just fucking weird.
And also Devil Jin, of all people, was in
And
5.
6, they were like, here's some 2B. Why not? This game is popular right now.
And Gerald.
She thick.
You good old Gerald.
And Gerald.
Gerald.
Gerald's slowly becoming the next fucking Smash Brothers. Also, before anybody that watches this freaks out and corrects us, I'm going to go ahead and correct us right now. I guess the most hype crossover ever that the first ever happened was Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
What-
were excited for
wasn't it-
that.
Did Marvel vs. Capcom come out before the SNK crossover games?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say SNK was very, like, on the map for exciting.
Maybe not in the US, but it was pretty big in Japan.
It
Because
was
SNK is a big thing over there.
Fuck, what's that game called? I think it's X-Men versus Street Fighter was the very first version of that, and that was crazy for people back then. Like, Wolverine fighting Ryu.
That's pretty cool. And now we got Ryu fighting Piranha Plant.
But yeah, crossover, I don't know what else to call it besides, like, crossover culture at this point. Like, it as a whole is probably one of the more things that I like. They do a lot these days. A lot of people say they get tired of it, but I think it's great. Like,
It just adds so much more variety. Remember when Akuma was first like showing up in Tekken 7, that was nuts.
Everyone thought it was the next Street Fighter Tekken cross.
Yeah, the Tekken Cross Street Fighter game. Yep, they thought that's what it was, and then it was just Tekken 7. And they were like, "Oh,
Here's Akuma.
sweet."
He's part of the story now. He cucked Heihachi, Lamau.
Yeah, the crossovers, I feel like they're a good way of keeping the fighting game genre especially really like new and feeling fun and fresh. Yeah. Just as long as you don't do it like Fighter Z and you add all Gokus, that doesn't work.
Oops.
Yeah, because I mean, even that game is a kind of a crossover in itself because it's multiple versions of Dragon Ball are in it.
Yeah, it's it's like the same series but multiple universes in it. So having like 2 Brolys is kind of cool because they reimagined them, but we don't need 4 Gokus. Like,
Oh man, that reminds me.
I thought there was 10.
10 Gokus? Wait, hold on, let me count this out. There's Goku Super Saiyan, right? There's Super Saiyan 1 Goku.
there's Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Blue, Black, the fusion ones with him and Vegeta, and then there's
Kid Goku
Kid
from
Goku.
GT. That's 7.
Wow.
That's a lot of the roster because there's also like 5 Vegetas.
And isn't Bardock just another Goku?
Well, Bardock is Dad Goku, but at least in Bardock's defense, while he is technically just like another Goku, I guess you could see it as, he doesn't feel the same as a Goku. So,
Or Yamcha. He just is this longer-haired Goku, but he plays
he
different.
also doesn't play the same as Goku. All the Gokus play the same. That's the problem.
You know what that just reminded me of? The different versions of the same universe all in one fighting game that I still really want to play. Fucking Power Rangers Battle for the Grid.
Oh, that's right.
I keep forgetting that's even out until I like see it in one of the online shops. I'm like, oh yeah. I really want
I
to
also
give it a
don't
shot.
think it has any DLC or anything. I don't think they like are going to do anything with it after its like initial release. They're like, here you go, have fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's dead in the water anyways.
I'm kind of worried that's what's going to happen at Samurai Showdown. Like, it's so bare bones, and we were even talking about how it probably won't last more than one Evo. I feel like it's going to get no support. They're just going to after it was released, they're like, there you go.
Well, if you look at the like how many fighters have entered tournaments for Samurai Showdown, it's more than Mortal Kombat. There's more.
But yeah,
people
the
playing
entrants for it
Samurai
are high this year at Evo, but I don't think that's gonna hold enough to it as a game to keep it alive afterwards. Like, there's a lot of either one of two things is gonna happen. It's either going to slowly die, and there's gonna be a very niche community that plays it, or it's going to have this like power shift where all the pros that play other fighting games don't like it and leave, and like a whole new like just generation basically of fighters players show up to compete for this game because they like the style of it compared to other fighting games. So I've heard a lot of people say that they love Samurai Showdown because it's not combos and technical. It's like it's a slow-paced, pokey defensive game, you know. So
it's either pokey and defensive or you one-hit someone.
I just think the problem with it is that like once everybody figures out all the defense tech that the game has, because the game has a lot of defense tech. Once they figure all that out, matches will get so stale that I don't think it can maintain a competitive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think a whole new like group of people would come in because the other FGC people, like the big ones, like Max and they're already tired of this game. Like they're saying that it's not very good to them, and they would prefer other fighting games, which is fine. But like, there's also the like patches. Patches are gonna come in and change things in the meta, certain damages and whatnot, and if the game relies too much on updates, it'll probably die.
If it does get DLC, though, they could easily correct it by introducing a pack of DLC characters that don't have as much defense tech but have more offense tech. And it would kind of balance out the already defensive nature of the game by adding overly offensive characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking. They probably have this. I still have not played this game. This is all from just a viewing perspective of this game, which I have like watched a lot of because I love just watching fighting games. Like, there's a lot of characters that are just like Tam, for example, is literally just waiting in a corner and then doing that like downward slash move to hit somebody for like a good chunk of their health and then just waiting again. But then there's also characters that have like weak hitting moves, but they do a lot all at once, and they're like meant to be overwhelming. So if they can like make a dynamic out of that actually works, and patches can keep the meta alive in a way that changes it organically instead of it just being the same, like, oh, just block to wait your turn and then stab, block to wait your turn and then stab, then I think it'll live. It just depends. It's all up on the developers at this point.
Sorry.
What my biggest question is when are we gonna get another Def Jam game? That's the ultimate crossover.
I can dream.
I want to play as Takeshi 6ix9ine fighting Tyler the Creator. All right.
I want to play as Tyler the Creator and beat the fuck out of Takeshi 6ix9ine.
I want to rip your tongue out and lick my ass with it.
Or
whoa.
Or Kanye versus Jay-Z or just something. That'd be great.
Like, we have so many new rappers these days.
They just got to make sure that they put Wu-Tang back in it. Like, that has to be there. Them and Snoop Dogg have to be.
They
also
have
put Lil Dicky in there. That'd be funny.
Yeah, put like weird like pop culture icons like that. Because in fucking Def Jam Fight for New York, Seth Rollins is a playable character. Like, he has nothing to do with fucking rap, and they had him in there. So do like weird pop culture icons like that for it too. Like Lil Dicky, or like fucking do Andy Milonakis. I would love it if Andy Milonakis was a playable character in a
What if
game.
all of 3 Loco was playable and you had to control them all at once? They're just like in a pack.
They're Def Jam's ice climbers.
It'd be Riff Raff, dude from Scary Movie, and Andy Milonakis.
Dirt Nasty.
Yeah, Dirt Nasty.
Imagine the story of that, and there's like a being that comes from the heavens, and it's XXX.
Oh shit.
You know how just fucked that.
He's the legendary unlockable character, dude.
The overpowered one.
R.I.P. to XX Tentacion. I want to shift this a little bit again, more towards another game, because we talked about Samurai Showdown so much, just reminded me of it. There was a fighting game with DLC that is just, every time I look at it, I'm like, why? And that was the new King of Fighters. It doesn't add any characters or anything. It's just like color palettes. See, I don't know if I hate or love that. What do you guys think? Like, when there's no new fighters and it's just like a simple color swap, and it's like, here, $6 for a pack of those, that's it.
I actually kind of prefer that. Like, Street Fighter does that too, but they also have fighters. But I prefer that in a way of like, I feel like they're like cementing the meta or whatever when they make the game. They're like, these are the fighters we want. There's no shifts, no changes. Let people learn the game and be proficient at their characters. I have to worry about, oh, this DLC character comes out. What do I do next? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like customizable skins in Overwatch. It like doesn't affect the gameplay in any way, shape, or form. It just makes you look different, which is fine. But like, as I'll say again, with Tekken 7 and all those stupid things that you can customize your character on, it's very distracting. And plus, there are items that are unblockable, and if you just get hit by it, you can't do anything. It's stupid.
Yeah, but they have a very specific and weird input.
And they have a hella frame delay if you dodge it.
But still, all those like particle effects that you see, that's like super fucking distracting. I don't know about you guys, but it sucks.
If that's the argument there, then how do you play Smash in general when there's more than 2 people on the screen?
It's not that bad.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing.
I guess I'm used to backgrounds, but if it's like another character and they just have like flittery butterfly wings, a giant ass halo, a horse head, a big old like cyber chainsaw on their back, they have like bare feet, like, come on now.
But back to the DLC characters thing. I think they're from a casual perspective. I love DLC characters because they get to add weird shit, and it gives me new stuff to play. But I would imagine pros don't like it all that much, since they spend all this time learning the game, and then overnight there's just a whole new fighter they have to learn. And then a few months later it happens again, and then a few months later it happens again. And like that would be a lot to keep up with if you're trying to make a living doing this.
So for the most recent King of Fighters, I looked it up just to double check and see what kind of DLC it had. There's actually only 2 DLCs on the Steam page, at least. They're both just called upgrade packs, and they're both $20, not on sale. What they add is 4 DLC characters, 8 additional costumes, and a digital art book is in the first one. And then in the second one, it adds 4 more DLC characters. So it adds 8 characters overall, but that's weird because that's like the upgrade pack 1 is $20 and adds all that, and then upgrade pack 2 is also $20 and then just adds the 4 characters. So their like structure for doing that is still very weird, but I guess it's a little better than just here's like a fucking $8.
$60 for 4 time delayed fighters.
Yeah. Yeah, just questionable shit like that.
I do feel like fighting games charge too much for DLC sometimes.
I agree.
Like
fucking
$40 for like 4 or 5 characters. Like I got more than that when I bought the game for $60. So why am I paying this much for 4 new?
See, that's why I like Tekken 7's like season passes. Yeah, they're season passes, and you have to buy all of them, as well as the game if you are just now buying it. But the season pass is like what, 6 characters for $25? That's not bad.
The price isn't bad, but I get it, but I'm assuming the way King of Fighters did it is there was no time delay, right? Like the DLC dropped, it was here's 4 new characters. Whereas in Tekken, it's like pay $25, here's a character. Now wait an indiscriminate amount of time for the.
Yeah, see, now that's the part I don't like about the Tekken one, is it gets really shady with that, where it's like, here's this character, pretty cool, right? Well, now you gotta wait who knows how long. Do you remember how long we waited in the first DLC season pass for the next character?
It was the first Tekken World Tour. And, no, it was Evo. When Tekken 7 came out and they revealed Geese. And then we had to wait all the way to December where Tekken World Tour Finals showed up, and then they revealed Noctis. And then Noctis came out the next, like, what, March or
I think April? It was the next year, half a year almost. Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 months.
We were getting close to re-Evo time before Noctis was added. Because I remember him being prominent there because he was.
Yeah, it was a mess. They did a lot better with the second season pass, but that also is like, why did you make us pay for a second season pass?
And with season passes, like time-delayed ones like that, devs can be scumbags. Like, sure, they can be like, we're going to give you 5 new characters, but reveal 2 of them, and then later on just be like, well, we had to cut one for technical issues. So now all of a sudden, you pay $25 thinking you were going to get 5, now it's 4.
When has that ever happened?
It hasn't, but it could. People they've cut stuff for technical issues all the time. Well, and other devs have done it before to varying degrees with, Final Fantasy 15 canceling all their all their DLC.
Yeah, I mean, it
out of
can
nowhere.
Happen. It's not like something that you can just go, it won't happen, because it can. That definitely did with Final Fantasy 15, obviously not a fighting game, but I mean, it was a big shock to a lot of people that they just cut it off and that was the end of it. There was no dispute or anything. Nobody else took up the project. It was just done.
Oh gosh, imagine if Nintendo did that with their Fighter Pass. Like after Banjo, they're like, yeah, we're gonna stop it.
Banjo canceled.
We were working on Crash Bandicoot and also like Earthworm Jim, but no, we just cut them.
Banjo canceled. Microsoft.
Those were some very oddly specific choices. Travis, is that who you hope is like the next?
I don't think Crash will make it, but Earthworm Jim would be fucking cool.
Crash would be the most sensible choice because he is an icon.
it hinges too much on Sony saying, "Sure, use our IP,"
Hey, they
and
did it
they're
with Snake Oil
Sony.
and Cloud.
Years ago, Sony now it's like, "Hey, can we crossplay your game?" Like, maybe.
Sony was so against crossplay though.
And there's only like what 3 games that have it, and they're all free to play, and 2 of them are like Epic owned.
One of them was Minecraft.
One is Fortnite, and the other is Dauntless, and both of those are Epic.
Speaking of
forgetting-
Minecraft, it blows my mind that people still think that Steve is like a viable character option for
He's
Smash
not.
Ultimate.
He's not. I don't know why people are like, hey, you see Minecraft Steve? Yeah, he's gonna be in a fighting game.
I hope they
no.
use him as a joke reveal at some point.
I hope
It'll
he's
be-
just an assist trophy.
or a spirit.
Well, I mean, people are still holding out hope for Waluigi, so I guess people will believe anything.
Fuck you, Sakurai. I'm not. You're not giving my $60.
He bought the game anyway, twice.
That's funny. Oh, I miss the days when Waluigi was just not a confirmed character and everyone lost their mind. That was so great.
I still think he would just be Luigi but tall, so I'm kind of glad he's not.
With a tennis racket.
I
Gotta remember that.
I think Smash does the hypest character reveals, though. You know, like I don't
All
think
their
there's
trailers
been-
are insane.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's been a single reaction that is as good as some of the people's I see online. And like, oh my god, dude! I remember when we were watching the direct at E3, we were. I was like, yay for the hero, because we already kind of expected him because of the leak. I was really excited for him still. But then Banjo, oh my god, I screamed at the top of my
When-
lungs.
Yeah.
And having the double reveal was nuts. Like 2 Fighting Pass characters at once.
Yep, one at
Woo!
the beginning, one at the end. It was really smart to do it that way too.
when I was at work, I was watching the reveal and I didn't know who it was at first because I didn't even bother looking at the name of the YouTube video, and it was basically the same thing as Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, but also K. Rool's there. I was like, oh okay, and then I saw one of the oh god, what are those puzzle
Jiggies.
pieces? Yeah, Jiggies. They were it bounced. I was like, that's Banjo.
I just like how they replayed, like, it was like a sequel trailer to the K. Rool trailer. I thought
Yeah.
that was hilarious.
The twist on it. It tricked a lot of people too. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be another villain because of the way they did it, but nope, it was just because it was Rare themed.
Yep, and
I-
all those characters except like Duck Hunt were all rare exclusive.
I'm gonna become a Banjo.
I want another villain character before the end of the Fighter Pass.
What if they drop a hot bomb for the fighter pass and instead of 5 characters we get 6? Maybe Crash and
We'll just
and
get a
Neo
second.
Cortex.
We'll just get a second fighter pass, and no, that's not going to happen.
That'd be so cool though. Imagine playing as Dr. Neo Cortex against Solid Snake. Or Bowser.
Then we'd just be playing PlayStation on the Nintendo.
Hey,
PlayStation All Stars?
We already have PlayStation All Stars.
I have that game.
I used to. Man, it was fun for 5 minutes, and then I realized that Raiden and Kratos were busted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another pretty
I
crazy crossover game with some weird DLC fighters, dude. When I think about it. Fucking
Wasn't
Isaac...
one of the DLC Hellgast?
No, he was in the base game. One of the DLC was Isaac Clarke from Dead Space.
Yeah, for some reason. Also, Big Daddy was a playable character on the base game for some reason.
Which was also really weird. My brain always goes back to that and thinks it's just because they did that, like, the special version of Bioshock 1 when they released it on PS3. But, like, that's the only reason I can ever think of. Everything else is just like, what?
I just like how all the characters were named but Hellgast. It's just a soldier, just a dude from Kill.
No, he had a name. It was Colonel Raddick.
Yeah.
He's an actual, like, character.
I don't
from
even
the
know who that
story.
is. I don't know. I've only played the first Killzone game.
He was I tried to main him at one point, and then I went online, and it was all just Kratos and Raiden. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that range
Fat
is insane.
princess forever.
Oh, I forgot she was in that.
I
Why
played
is
as
that
Parappa and Sly Cooper.
Yeah, it was funny because it was PlayStation All Stars, but Spyro nor Crash were in that game.
Also
was-
played as Sir Daniel. That was one that I loved that they had in it. They got some characters right, but then they missed like a shit ton of other opportunities. Fucking, they had cool characters. Like they had the kid from Ape Escape in there and Sir Daniel, but then like they didn't have Crash, Spyro, or anybody else that was prominent during the PS1 era of PlayStation games. Like, if they can have Isaac Clarke, they can have fucking Logan from Siphon Filter. You
Discord
know,
broke.
Discord
I agree
broke?
with the robot.
Uh
You're like like this.
oh. Am I still like that?
Not anymore. But what I was gonna say is, yeah, they added Cole from Infamous, and then Evil Cole. That
Yeah.
was literally his name. Evil Cole.
Should have added Gex.
Oh yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Or Abe from Oddworld.
Yeah. Well, he was actually meant to be one, and then he got cut.
Yeah.
Him and what's his name? Dart from Legend of Dragoon, which would have been a really obscure one.
No one would have known who that was except for like 7 people.
Wasn't there? Didn't? Oh yeah, the kid from Ape Escape was in that game as well.
Yeah, that was probably when I was cutting out. That's what I was saying, was that they had some really crazy obscure ones like him, Sir Daniel, but then they couldn't have anybody else that was from the prominent PS1 era, like fucking Logan from Siphon Filter.
Oh, that's right. That game.
Since we're talking about crossover games again, I want to go back to Marvel vs. Capcom for a second. They have some of like one of the most wild character rosters, and I'm actually kind of sad Infinite suck. Like they just added the Monster Hunter. Like,
Yeah, they cut a shit ton of really cool Capcom characters from Infinite. Didn't they cut Beautiful Joe and Beautiful Joe? And they also cut Beautiful Joe? Why the fuck did they cut Beautiful Joe?
yeah, I also heard that they cut Beautiful Joe.
You don't do that to Beautiful Joe.
Hey, you also remember?
But
what happened
Wesker's still there,
Yeah.
Beautiful Joe win.
And Nemesis.
and they added Sigma. That's important
I
And
like
because
they
how
other
added
people played the
Phoenix
X series.
right.
they added.
They
Nemesis-
did have Phoenix, right?
They added Nemesis, and he looks like the goofiest looking character. He's just some tall stick. Like, he looks like a tree trunk with a bazooka.
He was in 3 Ultimate first.
I
Oh,
still
was
think MVC 2 was like the peak of Marvel vs. Capcom, but 3 wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
So-
I actually really like 3 a lot. Yeah, he was in 3, Travis. 3 Ultimate. He wasn't in the original version of 3. 3 Ultimate added a shit ton of characters. Frank West and...
Didn't they also cut the cactus guy from?
Yeah, dude, fucking Wanamingo, whatever his name is. Hold on, I gotta look this up.
I remember. Oh gosh. Actually, oh yeah.
The name
But-
I said, Wanamingo, that's the name of a... That's the name of an alien from the original Fallout 1 and 2. I don't know why that was what I thought his name was.
Were you playing Fallout 1 and 2?
No, but I'm pretty sure it sounds similar. Amingo, that's his name.
Amigo?
Yeah, because he wore a sombrero.
Yeah, he was a Mexican cactus. Amingo. He was fucking awesome. Wanamingo. I don't know why I fucking thought. I mean, it's close, so.
Oh, speaking of also fighting games, remember in Soul Calibur 5 when they completely gutted Killick and made him into the Mokujin of Soul Calibur?
They did that? I didn't know they did that. I've never played
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. Oh gosh, dude, you missed out on walking up to someone and then holding the block button.
Yeah, 5 was a little broken.
Nice, I didn't miss much.
It was so stupid. But
A lot
Yeah,
of
they-
5 games in series seem to be kind of broken.
yeah, they completely gutted Killick, and he was just, like I said, a Mokujin character where he would switch fighting styles, every match or every like round.
So he was like
So
the
you could-
Inferno of fucking Soul Calibur 5? That's weird.
Yeah, and he'd go from Voldo to round 1 to like Tira round 2, and it would just be stupid.
Also, We're talking about DLC characters, even though we got completely off topic. We got to talk about the game that DLC saved them, and that's Street Fighter V. Because that was all downward trajectory until they started adding DLC characters and
Kage.
patches.
I'm pretty sure it's still in downward trajectory. That just fluttered it a little bit. Kept it
Yeah,
afloat for a little longer.
But it got it back to, like, the tournament scene doesn't hate it nearly as much as they used to.
Yeah, I mean, they added some really cool characters like Sagat and G.
G.
Or Sagat.
Yeah, G's cool. Do you know if you wait for like 60 seconds while idle, he'll do like a weird move that halves their health?
I did not know that, but I'm pretty sure Q does the same thing in Third Strike, but his character is supposed to be referenced to Q anyways. The lore theory, as far as I know, this could have been updated or figured out by now, but when G came out, the lore theory was that G was just Q before he was transformed into what he is in Third Strike, because Third Strike takes place after 5 in the timeline.
Also, are there any other fighting games that DLC actually helped it, like, not be dead right now?
Smash 4. Basically, when Cloud and Bayonetta got announced.
I would argue that Smash
I would
4's
argue the
DLC
opposite.
killed it, yeah.
Because the characters were too broken.
Yes, the characters were broken, yes, but it brought in a little bit more people. Like, hey, look at all these cool new characters. They also brought back Lucas.
Yeah, that's true.
They brought back Mewtwo. They brought
Roy.
Corrin from.
Yeah,
Fire
it
Emblem.
did bring player base in, I guess. But then a lot of them quit because they're like, I'm going to play online. Oh, my 15th Bayonetta of the day. Time to get Infinite off the screen.
I'm so glad they gutted her in Ultimate. Holy fuck, it's so nice.
Or Cloud just bouncing you on his sword for 7 hours.
Cloud's actually not that bad in Ultimate. He's
still a
just
decent character. You can actually win with him, like, whereas
He just
Bayonetta is very much like if Bayonetta went from being like OP meta to such a specialist character now that like there's like one pro that plays as her super well and that's it.
yeah.
It's because she's hard. I don't find the difficulty in Bayonetta of getting people the high percentage. It's killing them once I got them.
Yeah, it's back in 4. When you did her side B, that little slide kick that launches them up. On shield, like if you hit them while they're shielding, you can still do like the kick after you hit them. While as in Ultimate, if you slide towards them, hit them, but they're shielded, you can't do the kick. So that's like easily punishable now, and that's one of the things that killed her. Also, her damage got nerfed. So,
I'm just happy that heavy characters are viable in Smash now, because I always enjoyed playing Bowser, but he's definitely not. He definitely was not nowhere near tournament viable in
Heavy
4,
characters are amazing.
pretty
now.
good now.
oh yeah,
Yes.
when it was such a drastic jump from Bowser in Brawl to being like this slow, very, very bad character who just went grrr across the stage to someone who's like running and doing stuff.
I just miss his animation. Yeah, you're right. His running animation was the best.
It wasn't even running. He was gliding. He was scraping the floor.
I just realized that Kyle is the only person here that doesn't like play heavy characters almost exclusively.
I don't play exclusively heavy characters.
I said almost.
I do a pretty good Wii Fit train.
I play exclusively heavy characters.
Speaking of heavy characters, Piranha Plant as a DLC character was one of the weirdest choices, but also one of
Yes,
the
it was.
Oh,
funniest.
I'm so glad though. He's so good.
Okay, I believe that was put in last minute because Sakurai saw these people that were supposedly leaking shit, and he said to himself, no.
He was like, you know what? I'm gonna get one surprise in on you. Fuck you.
Have Piranha Plant.
I mean, they didn't get to
Don't
leak
ask me for
Joker. Joker was pretty fucking wild. I remember when we
never
watched
saw
that
it
live.
coming.
Yeah, we never saw it coming.
That Dragon Quest character was like pretty hard though.
Yeah, we knew about that. That's why.
Kind of.
So they switched it on us because a lot of people thought it was going to be Erdrick.
See, that's why.
So they did do a switch around.
That's why I'm starting to hope people leak shit, because every single time something's been leaked now, they've pulled a curveball on us, or like it wasn't possible to leak. So like, we didn't know about Banjo, we didn't know about Joker. When we did know about Erdrick, it wasn't Erdrick, it was the Luminary, and then Erdrick was a costume. They were cute with it. When we found out about everybody that was going to be in the base game for Smash Ultimate, they were like, yeah, but you didn't know about this character, and then it was just fucking Piranha Plant. Like,
also, Banjo, I feel like came out of left field for a lot of people because people wanted it, but it was still kind of a joke.
well, we
know?
knew that they were going to do a Microsoft crossover. Like, we expected it at this point, because they were, for lack of a better way of explaining it, they were jerking each other off hardcore all over social media.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a leak. There was no concrete information. It was just a guess.
Yeah, so
An educated guess, but
everybody assumed it was Master Chief, actually. That's what I saw the most, at least, on Twitter and other places. Everybody was like, oh, Master Chief's going to be in Smash, it's going to be fucking crazy. And then it ended up being Banjo, which is way more proper, I think, for the set, like, for Nintendo, because it was his first home, you know, like...
Yeah, on the N64. But I remember back in the Smash 4 days when they had that Smash ballot, and everyone wanted Ridley and King K. Rool, and Sakurai just flat out said, "Oh, we can't add Ridley; he's too big." And then for K. Rool, they added the Mii costume that made you look like K. Rool. Oh, I was mad.
It was a long time coming. So, we are officially at the hour mark, which is where we are going to take our intermission. 5-minute break real quick. We will be back in just a second. Okay, so, yeah, that was Tier Masters. I'm not sure if we're gonna keep that or not, but, hey, you know what? It's improv, yeah.
Pre-recorded. Hey, how about that?
Through the power of editing, that didn't take an hour.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that right now. So, yeah. That's it, everybody. To whoever watches this, thank you for watching our very first episode. By the way, we have a late guest. Introduce yourself, late guest.
Hi there, I slept through the whole thing, pretty much.
Hi there, I slept through. My name is Sleep, and I am Sleep.